Hey guys, welcome to Unit 1, Lesson 1, and in this unit we're going to have kind of a mixture of new and old things, so I'm going to go kind of quickly through some things you should already know, and I'm going to slow it down as we come across the new things. So the first thing is, and you guys all know this, an angle consists of two rays in a plane with a common endpoint. That common endpoint is called the vertex. I'm going to jump around. And the two rays are called the sides. So we have side, side, and then the vertex here. And then you have the angle right here. I don't know why that looks so funky. Sorry. This is VERTEX. I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay. An angle's measure is generated by a rotation around the vertex. The ray in its initial position is called the initial side. So that kind of sounds redundant, but I'm going to explain it here in a second. And a ray in its location after the rotation is called the terminal side. So what this means is we are going to say that an angle is going to begin here. So this is called the initial side. And as you complete the rotation, this new angle or this new side that is created, that's going to be called the terminal side. Okay, and so the next thing we're going to talk about is positive and negative angles. So if you have a positive angle, it is going to be in a counterclockwise rotation. So look at that. Here's that initial side, and it's going to go around in a counterclockwise direction. The negative angle is going to go in the opposite direction. So this is going to create a negative, let's say 45 degrees, and this is going to create a positive 315 degrees. So the most common unit for measuring angles, that's going to be a degree. And a complete, so if you're going to go all the way, complete rotation, that's going to be 360 degrees. If we're going to measure 1 degree, if you want to look at it in a different way, that's 1 over 360 degrees. So this next part is total review, so I'm not going to get into that. If anytime you need more help, just reach out to me and I can definitely help you. So there are the 4 types of angles that you'll come across. In this one, we're going to talk about complementary and supplementary angles. So complementary angles are going to add up to 90 degrees, and supplementary are going to add up to 180. So when I have an angle measuring 40 degrees, the complement of that would be 50 degrees because 40 plus 50 is 90. And the supplement of that is going to be 140 because 140 plus 40 is 180. Example 2 is covering the same type of objective. It just looks different. So notice how this creates a right angle. So these two angles are complementary. So I'm going to say 6x plus 3x equals 90. So x equals 10. And if you want to write in the degree measure, 10 times 6 is 60. And then this is 30. So know how 60 and 30 are complementary angles. They add up to 90. These two angles add up to 180 because it creates a straight line. I'm going to say 4x plus 6x equals 180. So x is 18. And so this is end up going to be 72 degrees and 108 degrees. So I don't know if you've covered this in geometry or not, but if you want to hone in on a degree, instead of saying like 30 degrees, we could say 30 degrees, 27 minutes, 3 seconds. And this gives a more precise measurement than just simply saying 30 degrees. So we're going to talk about that next. A minute is 1/60th of a degree. So think about this in terms of like time and hours and stuff. It's the same concept as that base 60. And a second is 1/60th of a minute. So let's kind of get a basic unit conversion here. So we have 3,600 seconds that is equal to 1 degree, and that is also equal to 60 minutes. Sorry. So this is going to come into play in a little bit, so kind of keep that in the back of your mind. I'm going to refer back to that. On this next section, again, I'm going to advise you to go back to your grade school days and add time, even though we're not technically adding time, but we're using that base 60 system. And same thing over here. Think about what you would do with time if you had to subtract it. So again, we're dealing with degrees, but it's that base 60. So when we add these together, we end up getting 75 minutes and 83 degrees. So we could say, let's go back to time. So we could say 75 minutes, or we could say 1 hour, 15 minutes. And so instead of saying 1 hour, we're going to add that onto the degrees. So my final simplified answer would be 84 degrees, 15 minutes. This is the best answer right here. So on B, think back to when you had to borrow from your neighbor. So this would become 89 degrees, 60 minutes. So notice I'm not changing the value, I'm just changing the way it looks, because 89 degrees plus 60 minutes, that is still 90 degrees. But now I'm able to subtract. So when I subtract 89 from 73, I get 16 degrees, 48 minutes. So these next 4 problems are just a review of what we've talked about. So go ahead and see if you can do those and push pause and see if we come out with the same answers. Okay, so this is what I got for my answers, and double check and see if you got the same thing. If you did, you are on the right track. Good job. So now we're going to convert between decimal degrees and degrees, minutes, and seconds. And this is why. So if you had decimal degrees, you need to be able to know what that is in degrees, minutes, and seconds. So let me give you an example. So if I had, let's say 20.5 degrees, that's the same thing as 20 degrees, 30 minutes. So some people choose to use it in decimal degrees. Some people choose to use it in degrees, minutes, and seconds. And you need to be able to switch back and forth. So the way to do that is we're going to come up here, and remember how I said we're going to use this. So notice that these are all equal to each other. So I need to get all of these on an equal playing field. So I need to put them all in terms of degrees. So this is already in degrees, so I'm good. 14 seconds. There's 3,600 seconds in a degree, so I'm going to put that over 3,600. And there are 60 minutes in a degree, so I'm going to put that over 60. So let me clean this up a little bit. So if you'll notice now, these are all in terms of degree. So I'm just going to put this in my calculator and add them together, and I get 74.13722222 repeating. But it says round to the nearest thousand. So this is tenth, hundredth, thousandth. So my final answer is 74.137 degrees. Okay, go ahead and try this one and see what you get. Okay, so you should have gotten 12.582 degrees. And again, it's just the same thing as this degree, minutes, and seconds form. It's just showing it in a different form. Okay, now we're going to go the other way. So we have it in decimal degrees, and we're going to go to degrees and minutes and seconds. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this and split it up into degrees, minutes, and seconds. I already have the 34 degrees, so that's good. So I'm not concerned about that. So I'm going to take the 0.817, and I'm going to, notice on this one, we divided by 60, so now I'm going to multiply by 60. When I do that, I get 49.02, and I'm going to move this 49 over to my minutes. I'm going to grab the whole number and put it over to my minutes. And I still have this 0.02. and that I'm going to turn into a second. So this part is kind of confusing. Instead of like dividing by 3,600 seconds, think about this. We've already divided 60. So I don't want to divide by 3,600. I'm just going to divide by 60 again. So I'm sorry, I said that wrong. I'm going to multiply by 60. This gracious, going the wrong way. Okay, so I have 0.02 times 60. And again, I've already, sorry, I misspoke last time. So I've already multiplied by 60. And now I'm going to multiply by 60 again. 60 times 60 is 3,600. So that's where that's coming from. So I end up getting 1.2, and that is going to become my seconds. I do not care if you round to the nearest whole number and just have 1 second, or if you keep the decimal, or where you round. It doesn't say. It's totally up to you. It is completely fine if you just want to do that. Just round to the nearest second. I'm totally okay with that. So let's go ahead and try this one. I'm going to write my work down, so I've kind of messed up on part A, and hopefully you can do it a little bit on your own. Okay, so I've shown my work here. So if you just want to follow my steps, notice I multiplied by 60, I multiplied by 60 together, or again, and then I grabbed the whole numbers from each. So you could either have this for your answer, or you can have include the decimal. So go ahead and try this next one. Okay, so I ended up getting 45 degrees, 12 minutes, and 36 seconds, and here's my work. And that is it for part 1. There's also part 2 for lesson 1, so don't forget that. Thanks, bye.